here's a phrase that doesn't really appear in modern translations because really it's an over-translation that has been deemed redundant. In the King James Bible, though, 613 times we read this phrase, "It shall come to pass." Really, it just translates one verb in the Hebrew, "it will be." But I think this lovely phrase, "it shall come to pass," has a tremendous sense of prophetic history. It's a phrase that manages to convey both a sense of future and of past. You see, these events will not only come, they will come to pass. That is, they will be established as new states of affairs. The world will have to reckon with these fresh happenings. It will be a future that makes history. Therefore, this saying is the very opposite of a similar sounding phrase. Have you ever heard this phrase, "This too shall pass"? This too shall pass. Legend has it that this saying, "This too shall pass," was inscribed on a ring given to powerful Persian kings. And it was meant to remind the kings that both their achievements and their sufferings were only fleeting. You know, when the king realized that things were going well, he thought, "Oh, well, this too shall pass." And when things were going badly, he would think, "Well, this too shall pass." This too shall pass communicates the transience of all things. But our phrase, "it shall come to pass," could not be more different. When the Old Testament prophets foretold what shall come to pass, they were prophesying earth-shattering events that would change history for good. The Messiah would come and establish his kingdom. He would shatter his enemies and would reign in peace and righteousness. The prophets strained ahead towards this messianic future. And while all things in the meantime might pass, the Messiah's coming would be the real making of history. Here's one example from Isaiah chapter 2. And let me read from the old King James Version. "And it shall come to pass in these last days, that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above all the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many peoples shall go up and say, Come ye, let us go up unto the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. He will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, and he shall judge between peoples, and shall rebuke many peoples." Notice how this future event will make history. What is yet to come will establish a whole new world. Even the mountains will shift when this event comes to pass. The nations will flow uphill to the house of the Lord. At the same time, the word of the Lord will flow out to the ends of the earth. These events indeed did come to pass when Jesus, the true temple, was torn down and raised up through his death and resurrection. Now the nations flock to him, and his word flows out to the four corners of the earth. This future that Isaiah longed for is coming to pass. Tomorrow we will see that we still await for the final consummation of these events. But for now, realize that there are many things that will pass. Successes will pass, failures will pass. All that we do is passing away, but Christ's future will never fade or be lost. It will come to pass and will never pass away.